Morning, guys. This is like my 27th take on this video. If it wasn't because of audio issues, it was because of the angle on the camera or on the tripod. If it wasn't because of any of those two, it was because of the lighting coming in through the woods. The camera was having a hard time adjusting to the lighting, so it'll go a little dim, a little brighter, a little dim, a little brighter. Everything else was spot on, but it was freaking annoying to watch. And if it was annoying for me, I'm pretty sure it was going to be annoying to you guys. Anyhow, so because it's my 27th time, I will make this sweet and as short as I can. Last weekend we finally finished messing with this freaking thing here. You know, this is the big pine tree that uprooted. I'll post a photo up here somewhere. We managed to accidentally put it back in the hole a little bit. And I say accidentally because I was not aware that whenever you cut a tree that has been uprooted, whenever you cut like towards the base of it, it will spring back up. And that was freaking scary as shit. And my apologies for the language, but it sure was. And it's an actual thing. I should have watched more videos on uprooted trees. The only thing that slowed the tree down from not hitting me was before we cut the base, we started trying to, we were filling the hole. We were trying to make the hole as much as we could. But then we gave up on that. Once we quote unquote fill it up as much as we could, then we went off to doing other stuff, and then we came back to the tree and we decided to make it as small as we could. And when it got to the point, I cut the base of it, and that's when the thing sprung up. But because we already had stuff like dirt, debris, rocks, you name it, we already had some stuff inside of the hole from the roots being up. That slowed the process of the root ball going back to the hole. But like I said, it's a nasty looking thing. I wish, out of all the videos that my wife has taken, I wish she would have been taking a video of that one. But anyways, we finished it up. We made it as small as we could. We filled up around it so we didn't have any holes going underneath the fence. And then we put a piece of the fence. What we did was we dug and cut a trench behind, I will say behind, but it's actually through the root ball, through the thinnest section of it. And then we put this section of the fence. The rest of the fence still looks like crap, but you can't see the house from the road. Needless to say, you cannot see this from the road or even from the driveway. So who cares? As long as it's functional. If you go to my very first short, I love country living. Yeah, we make our fences look functional. We stop making them look pretty because here, ironically here, the animals, the goats or the horses, they don't put stress on the fence. They're not pushing, trying to get to the other side as far as, grazing or whatever. But here, from the front all the way to the back, we have trees on both sides of the fence. And that's what's banging the fences up. Every time, here where we live, we don't get typical rains. It's always a storm whenever it rains. So we get a lot of winds with it. So it's just a matter of time before a tree, a limb, or a branch, they fall on the fence and they get all banged up, and then we have to patch them up again. So, so as long as it keeps the fences from the animals to get it to the other side, that's all we care about. So yeah, like I said, it took us about 3 weeks. We got a 3/4 ton truck. We tried pulling it with it. It was a no-go. I might actually try to post a little clip somewhere here of one of the many times we tried it with the truck, and it was not giving an inch, even though we cut most of the roots that were attached to it. So I will stop here, and now I'm gonna show you guys my next project, which is gonna be the white oak, the white oak that uprooted, because I have 2 white oaks that are down One uprooted completely, the other one just snapped at the base. The one that uprooted is the one that I'm more concerned about because it has, it's being supported by some limbs and branches, and I'm concerned that one of the limbs or one of the branches is gonna give, and the tree's gonna either collapse on itself or it's gonna roll. And I'm afraid that one of the animals is gonna be around it, whether it's a goat or whether it's a one of the horses or one of us, for that matter. And I don't want, it goes without saying, I don't want something like that to happen. So I'll get out of here and I'll move the camera towards the back where the white oak is, okay? All right, guys, this is the next project. This is a large white oak that uprooted. The root ball is on that end. So here's my dilemma. I don't know where to cut first. It is supported by this large limb, okay? So it fell right on it. Then you have another limb that's going that way. On the right side of it, I might put a photo or maybe take the video camera that way. So there's another tree that's next to it, and there's a limb that's hanging on to one of the limbs coming out of this white oak. And then further down, I don't know if you can still see me in the camera. It almost looks like it wants to roll that way, but there's a smaller tree here. It's say smaller, maybe about between 9 and 11 inches around. But you got this limb and you got this other one that are pushing on that smaller tree. Well, what's left of it, because the white oak took half of it off. So yeah, there's my dilemma. I don't know which limb to start cutting on first. I am thinking on getting up here and start cutting these limbs down, the ones on top. You might make the weight a little lighter, if you will. I don't know if that was making any sense. Or I might start taking those limbs that I think are supporting the tree from rolling over. I might start cutting on those. So if we have any experts watching this video, I'm not asking anybody to come to my property. That's not what I'm asking. I actually like doing things myself. But if we have any experts on the matter, I'm not an expert by any means, and you have any suggestions, by all means, I'm all ears. And I'm quite open-minded. So, like I said, option A, taking out the limbs that are quote unquote supporting the tree, or that I think they're supporting the tree. Like I said, the one on the right side, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, comes out this way and it's lodged on the tree that way. Okay, and then you have this large limb here that is pushing on this smaller tree. This limb is also pushing on this smaller same tree. So, and further down you got another salad of stuff, but I'm not concerned about that because the farther up you get, the lighter the weight. So my main concern is down here. So option 2, just start getting up on top and start cutting from top, to bottom. So, but yeah, I will keep you guys posted. I might actually do a time lapse video once I decide on what to how to tackle this, and I think it will make for an interesting learning experience for this guy. Somebody asked what I use to split wood. I might, if this clip is short enough, I might actually put something towards the end on the items that I use for splitting wood, because there was one. I've been splitting wood for a while. We have a wood burning stove, so nothing goes to waste. So every time a large limb or a tree falls, hey, it's time to chop it up, make a firewood. And but there's one piece of equipment that it was a game changer a couple years ago, and I will do a short clip like towards the end of this video, showing what I've been using and what was the game changer that made things so much easier. So anyways, to the next one. It is getting hot, it's muggy, I'm sweating without doing much effort. So I will keep this one sweet, short, and to the point. I don't have a designated wood splitting area. About 2.5 years ago, a large oak, another white oak, fell, and I ended up splitting it here, right next to where it fell. These are just remnants from that tree. So, but I figure I usually, wherever the tree falls, that's where I split it. You know, that's where I cut and split, and then I hauled it to the storage bins that we have, which I might post a photo of how I keep them stacked up. Anyways, it helps a little bit if you have when it comes to splitting wood. By the way, this is not a how-to video on how to split wood. This is how I do it, and regardless of what's out there, this is how I like to do it. And I'm open to suggestions, but I've been enjoying it doing it this way. It helps if you have a larger base, a larger round to put your logs on top to split. But if you don't have one, so be it. Me, I will put the larger ones or the most difficult pieces on the larger base. Everything else, I'll just chop it on the ground, because I will chop here and some pieces will fall off, and then you got to pick them up, put them back on the round, chop again, and so on. I just follow it, and I'll split where the pieces might go. So to me, it's just faster that way. But as far as being safer and better for your back, now this is coming from somebody that has issues on his cervical, lumbar, and thoracic section on his back. It is better for your back this way. But I'm stubborn. I'll just follow the pieces around. Back in the day when we bought the property, I had this. It's a Lowe's brand, Cobalt. I'll get it a little closer. You can see it. It's just a typical wood axe. So I didn't know any better. I thought that was it, and I was splitting wood with it. It was not until a few years go by and I decided to invest in something a little heftier, because I kept coming across larger and larger trees or larger pieces to split, and I upgraded to this one. It's a splitting maul. So it's an 8-pound. I think it's an 8-pound. Yep. Yeah. I don't know if you can see I'll get close, if not too close. So you have the blade on one side, and you have the sledgehammer head, if that's a term, on the other side. On this, you don't need it to have very sharp, because it is the weight of it that's going to help you punch through. Oh, and if you're wondering about this side, this side helps with splitting wedges. That's a 4-pound splitting wedge. This is also a 4 or 5-pound splitting wedge, maybe a 3.5 pound. It's a little different design. And these come in handy when this splitting maul alone cannot get the job done. Then I bring these guys in, because the way I do it, I will put it on the edges, and then I go around, tapping it until they're ready to split. Now, what was a game changer 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, when this big boy fell, that white oak, I think you still see this label on it, Fiskars One Strike Splits. It's a 36-inch handle. I don't recall what other size handle, but I know there's a smaller size. But this, I don't know if you can see the design on the head. It is much, much lighter than the 8-pound splitting maul, but there's something about the head design that it's incredible when it comes to splitting the wood. Even for the larger rounds, this thing is a beast. With, I don't want to say little effort, but you don't have to put as much effort behind it. Now with a split-em-all, you don't have to like swing it. It's not a bat. You're not swinging to hit a home run. You're letting a lot of the weight do the work for you. But you still have to pick it up and bring it over your head and and strike down with it. So when it comes to splitting the wood, I usually just go all the way around. And I told some of the guys, the wood will tell you when it's ready for you to crank it up a notch, because you'll hear a deep thud sound or noise. That was almost one. And that's when it's ready to be split. And trust me, when you have a lot of logs to split, that's it. That was the one. When you have a lot of logs to split, you don't want to exert yourself. So when you hear that loud, it's like a deep thud, like a thump kind of noise. Your blade will go a little deeper, even though you're not swinging as hard. And then you'll see the crack going to the bottom. That's when, if you want to crank it up a notch, you can. If not, it's okay to keep going around and soften it up, if that's the thing, until it gives up. So I'm gonna finish breaking that up. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Now I gotta, if you wanna stay with this method, putting the stuff on the large round to be split, you gotta pick it up. You gotta set it here. Then you split. And then you gotta pick it back up. But more often than not, like I said, I will just do it on the ground. And then I'll just follow it around. As far as the size, how small or how large, that's gonna be entirely up to you and what size of fireplace or wood burning stuff you have. So, in case you're wondering, this is the limbs of a maple, some sort of maple, which makes excellent hot coals real fast when you're burning it. It doesn't last as long as oak or white oak, but it makes some really hot coals really fast, good to get the fire going. Now this is a large branch, so it's easier than if you're going with the larger limbs. Like I said, this is not a how-to video on how to split the wood. This is on how I do it. And to me, I find it very therapeutic. I'll get back here or wherever it might be within the property, and I'll just split wood until I get tired, and it's a good workout. So a couple of accessories, if you will. You got this video is not monetized, so you know this is not sponsored by any means. is the Fiskars. It's like a hatchet, but it makes it handy for if you forget to clean a smaller branches off of a limb. A couple of quick hacks with it. And same thing with this. With this, I don't have to bend down as much or as high. It's hinged right here, so you could take things up to 2 inches around. I've done a little wider. So, but guys, like I said, it's getting hot. I'm sweating. It's muggy. Doing a little effort. Like I said, that's not a how-to video on how to split the wood. That's how I do it. You know, everybody's physique is different. You know, I show you 3 different tools. When it comes to splitting wood, there's a bunch. I also bought, for this white oak, I bought a manual log splitter. What it is, it's almost like a bottle jack that will push the log into a wedge, metal wedge. It has 2 metal handles, and then you just go back and forth with the metal handles, and the metal handle, they'll just activate the jack, and the jack will push that log into the wedge. The problem is, it's slow. It is very slow. They will split the wood, you know. But when I had a whole tree to split, you know, I just didn't have time for that. So right now, I might actually flatten that wedge and use it as a press of some sort. All right, guys, I'm thirsty. I'm hot and sweaty. All right, see you guys.